Hello friends, it's Lolo with Grateful Gratitude, and I am here today with, I want to always say my girlfriend in gratitude, but a really great friend that I've probably known maybe 6 years, 7 years, I don't know, I lose track. But Lisa Hammett is just an amazing woman that I've partnered with on several things when it comes to gratitude. And I'm going to let Lisa tell you a little bit about herself because she has some exciting new things that she's doing. And then we're going to talk about how words matter when we talk, whether we should be saying positive things or negative things. So Lisa, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and we'll go from there.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm Lisa Hammett, and I am a success coach, and I have 3 pillars, which are personal, professional, and philanthropic. So whether you are looking to become your best self, or maybe you feel stuck, it could be on your health and wellness journey, it could be professionally, or maybe you're trying to raise money for, a worthwhile cause or nonprofit, I can help you with that. So I've recently started my own business during COVID. I know, crazy, but I had a business, jewelry business that I was doing for, over 6 years. And unfortunately, it just did not sustain COVID. So I kind of had to pivot, and this is where I am today.
Well, I think one thing though that Lisa and I have in common is constant gratitude. And no matter where we are in our life, we're going to find something good. And so today we're just going to talk about, I really noticed becoming a grandma a few years back, that the way that I talk to Levi, who is 2.5, really influences his reactions, his behavior. And I know that this is a very formative time for a little guy that, I'm feeling loved and things. And so I always try to use really, really positive words. And I know in your coaching, Lisa, with adults, I'm not sure if you do children or not, but with adults that you really reinforce that positivity.
Absolutely. Because, what we think about consistently, we start to believe. And when we have a strong belief about something, it impacts our actions. So if we're constantly thinking about things that are negative, then it will impact what we do. And that's really sad. But the good news is those are trained thoughts that can be changed, as you have learned. And I'm not saying you can just flip a switch and it all goes away overnight, but it is a relatively simplistic process. It does take work, but you can change your thoughts. And it is amazing that when you do that, how your world can just change and how people respond to you, as you had mentioned.
Right. And I think too, it starts inside. We have to be more positive and loving and caring to ourselves, but I really think that it's tiny, tiny little steps. I think a lot of times people think to change myself or my thinking is going to be a magnificent mountain to go over. And it's really not, is it?
No, it's not. In fact, oftentimes you don't even know maybe that you are thinking something negative, because millions of thoughts go through our brain all day long. And for one moment, we could be saying, oh, wow, water, love water, water's good, and then the next minute you're like, oh, but I'm hot, and then you start going down this weird path. But yeah, I just kind of lost my train of thought there.
That's okay. I think sometimes, and you and I have talked about this, just changing up certain little things. Like I did a women's seminar and I was telling those ladies, don't say I'm overwhelmed and exhausted. And don't say things like that. Script and say I'm in demand. That's why you're tired and exhausted and overwhelmed, is because you're in demand and you're such a special person, whether it be being a mom, working, being an employee or a boss or whatever, all things that we compact into ourselves as our identity. But just flipping the script a little bit. Do you have some favorite things like that you usually say or tips?
There's one, and actually, I don't know if you know who she is, Nikki Keohoho. I went to a training. It was a leadership training in a previous life, and talked a lot about what you were referring to, about how to rephrase things. And instead of saying, oh, I'm so irritated or frustrated or this stinks or whatever, just say, I'm a little disenchanted right now.
I like that.
But that just resonated with me, and I just thought it was awesome. So, again, it's like you said, it's not, oh, I'm overwhelmed, I'm exhausted. It's like, I have a very full life right now. And, sometimes it's hard when you're not used to thinking those things. It may seem kind of weird at first. A tip also that Nikki had said that kind of stuck with me and I've actually applied is that, especially if it's something that you don't feel that you're good at, which kind of reflects about your own personal confidence level. It's like, oh, I'm not good at that, or I have no willpower. Just add the word yet at the end of the phrase. It's like, I might not be good at something yet. So that implies that you are improving. And it's kind of that whole fake it till you make it mentality. And you're training your brain very subtly. And then before you know it, you're automatically thinking of the positive. So
that's a great tip. I have not heard that before. But I also think it's kind of like a little mental goal setting thing too, that like I haven't reached this yet, like you're saying, but I'm going to, because to me, yet is not a negative or a definitive term that means that you can't. It means you're in motion to that.
No, that totally makes sense. And our brains are pretty powerful. And if we put our minds to something, and we have confidence that maybe we don't have 100% confidence in the skill yet, but have confidence that, we can figure it out. We pretty much can. We're pretty amazing that way. And, when some parents may have said, to children as they were growing up, hopefully most parents, not all, but that you can do, Jimmy, you can do anything you put your mind to. And there's a lot of truth in that. There really is. When you really focus and you work hard, you can make shifts. Now, that doesn't just mean that you can say, oh gosh, you know what, just because I say that I want to do something, I'm going to be an expert at it. No, not necessarily. But if you really focus and put your mind on something, yeah, you can pretty much accomplish it.
I think I had a really good friend that was in leadership with me, and he taught me a lesson that I will never forget. And it's when you have something to say, whether it's to yourself or to say out loud to someone, don't say it. Don't say the first thing that you're thinking, and don't say the second thing, but say the third thing. And he said that allows your mind to really think through. Because number one, probably the first thing you're going to say is just kind of going to be blurted out without much thought. It's more of a emotional type of response or a reactionary type of response. Yeah, I think I have really taken this to heart, and it caused me to sit and think before I respond. Even if it's to myself, if I look in the mirror and I say, oh my gosh, I'm getting that COVID-19, stop and say, but wait a minute, I'm in a safe environment. I have healthy food, or I have food. I don't have a shortage. And when I think I came to the third thing I was going to think was health. So so I think it's kind of a way of bringing praise out of some negativity maybe too, and putting more thought and mindfulness into what we say or say about ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because what we say about ourselves oftentimes defines our self-image. And when we're constantly saying negative things to ourselves, unfortunately, it breeds negativity. So if you were from like a weight loss perspective to say, you know what, I can never lose weight. I just can't. I'm not successful with anything. I just can't do it. You keep telling yourself time and time again, your thoughts define your actions, or your behavior, which defines your actions. You won't be successful. So yeah, you can flip it. And it is interesting. I like that 3-step though, where you're pausing, because especially in a time like we're in right now, pandemic, and feelings are heightened, or emotions are heightened, and then we have the election, and there's so many things going on that when you take that extra step, you can prevent maybe a lot of negativity from occurring.
Absolutely. I think too, when we do that, we come to a calmer place than ourselves as well. But by setting forth, when I first started this ministry on gratitude, I had to train myself to be grateful and everything, and to be positive and see the good. And I think that when we use those good words and we replace some average words with better words, for example, I decided, if someone was going to ask me, how am I doing? I'm going to be remarkable. I'm just going to be remarkable. Because in my heart and my mind, that made me remarkable. And, if someone said, do you want to? And instead of saying yes, I changed it up to absolutely, because I wanted to be energetic. And I think you'll also agree that this changes our mindset when we talk in positive words instead of just average words. I mean, it doesn't even have to be negative words, but average words.
Absolutely. As I just said, absolutely.
Gotta love it.
It does. It's more affirming, and I think it makes more of an impact. It's like saying, "Oh, that was good." Well, good anymore, it just is kind of meh,
Yeah.
But if that was fantastic, and then there's energy behind it and excitement behind it, which then opens a whole other realm of thought. So.
And it's infectious. Not only do you feel good saying it, people like hearing that.
They do.
I also want to kind of touch base on before we go to sleep at night, about what are our thoughts? Are they positive or are they negative? And of course, my whole ministry is on holding a gratitude heart before you go to sleep and giving thanks so that you sleep better. What are your thoughts on that, Lisa? Do you have things that you tell your clients to do before they go to sleep?
Absolutely, especially if they have problems just shutting their mind off. It can become kind of a form of meditation, where you just take some things, and it can be as simple as, what are 3 things that you were most thankful for that occurred today? Or one thing that you're, most thankful for. And, when they first start, they may struggle. And I said, be thankful that you have a soft bed that you can lay down on. Be thankful that you woke up in the morning. Be thankful that you have clean water. Things like that we often take for granted. And then once you start kind of opening that up, then you start just recognizing how much you truly have to be thankful for. But when you go to bed, studies have shown that when you go to bed with that attitude of thankfulness and gratitude, that's how you tend to wake the next morning. And when you wake that way, you make better choices, you're happier, your outlook on life is better, you're more successful. It's just kind of like that whole snowball effect. Plus, it can also help you have a better night's sleep, because you're not focusing on all that negative.
Mm-hmm. And you sleep through the night without that anxiety. People always say, do you keep a gratitude journal? And, I do. And 3 things every night. And, I really didn't understand the impact of a gratitude journal until I was about 9 months into doing it. And I looked back at things that had happened in my life, that was just remarkable, that I had kind of forgotten about already. Like right after I started my ministry, I ended up in the ER and having to have a blood transfusion. And I'm AB positive, which is AB is kind of a rare blood type. And I was just so grateful, because there happened to be a blood shortage at the time, that they had a unit of blood for me. But yet, as I got through further down the year, I had kind of forgotten about that. And that listing of things just makes you even more grateful. And like you said, it can be hard at first, but man, I know you've been journaling how many, 1,300 days or whatever?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So it's interesting. Yeah. I started, it was a challenge, and somebody had challenged me. Well, it's now been over 1,200 days consecutively for 100 days. The challenge was for 100 days, post something that you're happy about, which happy, thankful, gratitude, it's like kind of all interrelated. And I thought, okay, I'm up for the challenge. I can do that. I can find something. So I kept doing that. And while I was doing it, I had people saying, wow, I so look forward to your post. You're like, my brain's going, really? Really? I didn't think I was saying anything that, impactful. But then as I was nearing towards the end, I had multiple people say, well, I hope you continue doing this because I love that. And it provides inspiration and encouragement for me. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. So now it's kind of become my personal mission that every single day I post one thing that makes me happy or thankful or grateful. And I've been doing it. I think I'm on 1,204 right now. And I'm just going to keep doing it until I can't do it anymore. Now, I will say there have been days that I've been so busy that I've forgotten. So then I make up for it the next day. So I might double post, like the next day, but I've never missed, a post per day. So I can truly say it's been like 1,204 days. So, and my hashtag now that is 1,000 happy days now comes up as a legitimate hashtag.
Wow.
I've done it. Yeah. So when I start to do the pound sign, it's like 1,000 happier days and it pops up. So I'm like, oh, I made a hashtag that, which is kind of funny.
That's great. And I want to key in on something that you said there too, because this is how I feel about my ministry, because my Facebook page, Grateful Gratitude, every day I just do a scripture, and just, it's a feel good. It's definitely not dark in any way. It's always going to lift people, but you never realize who you're touching when you do that. And it's the same as your post when someone said, keep on doing that. We're impacting other people's lives through gratitude. And I'm not sure why it is, but a big portion of my following is from Mexico City.
Oh, interesting.
And I have to use the translator a lot. But, if someone tells you that what you're doing makes an impact in their life, and you pull it all back to gratitude and positivity, that is enough motivation to continue positive.
Absolutely. And that's kind of a purpose. I think we all hope that at some point in our life that our life can have some kind of meaning, and if you want to go so far as to say, gosh, if you were to leave this earth, what somebody would put on your marker or would say at, a memorial service, what would that be? And you don't want to, at least I wouldn't want somebody to say, oh, she worked really hard. It's like, that's really sad. It's like you want something that is of meaning that can really kind of the whole pay it forward kind of concept that can impact other people. I think that's really what life's about. I think we're here to serve. And the sooner we can figure out what that is, it may evolve and change, but the sooner that we can figure that out, the better, so that we can really work on perfecting that service and helping other people.
I had a boss, it was 20 years ago, he said this to me. And this will make sense once I get it out, if I can say it properly. But we had a client that came in, and I worked in a veterinary hospital at the time. We had a client that came in, and he was just kind of an inspirational, intelligent, older man. I think he was like 91. And my boss said, you know what? I am better for knowing you.
Wow.
I look for those people. Who am I better because I've met him, even if it's only a one-time meeting? And I think that when I'm gone, I would want people to say that, I'm better because I knew her, or I'm better because I read her words, because there are people out there inspiring me every single day. People like you, Lisa, that, that are just living in the day and doing the best you can do for others.
Yeah, I agree. And they always say, surround yourself with people who are better than you, people who you aspire to be. Because if you keep it, you know, surround yourself with people just like you, or people who maybe are struggling. I'm not saying don't. I hope that doesn't come across that way. But if you want to make more of an impact and make a broader reach, then surround yourself with those people who are better than you, so that you can strive for betterment and can help others. So,
and even through COVID, you know, I think so many people have become disassociated. And doing things like this, where we're still connecting, we're still growing together, and, you know, and feeding off each other. You can do that through text. You know, I sometimes reach out to someone and just say, you know, I miss you. I'm better because I know you, and, you know, still feed that positive energy back into my life, even though a lot of times, of course, here in Texas, we're able to meet a little bit more than some other states, but, you know, take it upon yourself to keep connecting and keep growing during this time.
absolutely. Yeah, just keep reaching out, because you, as an act, like you said, as simple as a text, it takes no time to send a text, can make such an impact on somebody, because you don't know what they're experiencing. You don't know what emotions are going through their brain right now, and they could be really struggling. And just by saying, you know, I've been thinking about you, you're on your mind, you know, you're on my mind, I love you, you know, just something like that, or whatever, it can make a big impact.
It absolutely, absolutely can. So do you have an easy tip, not to blindside you here, but an easy for people who just say, you know, I'm hearing what they're talking about and I want to make a change. What one little thing would you say is the easiest thing for people to do to start a more positive life?
I think it's exactly what you had shared, and I kind of expanded upon about, you know, what you do at night before you go to sleep. And if you don't want to do it, if you're not going to remember before you go to bed, write down, you know, have a pad of paper and a pen, and write down one thing each day that you're thankful for. Just one thing. And again, it could be something as, I have clean water. You know, I'm able to put gas in my car. You know, I have friends and family. I mean, there's so many things that you can say, but I mean, some days it might be more of a stretch, but just one thing. And even if you have to set a reminder on your phone or a sticky note that says one thing you're thankful for, the more you do that, the easier it comes, and it really does start to shift.
Yeah, and I think that's what I do is I set a reminder. And, initially, it was for 11:11 in the morning, because that's a very important time for me. And I just put in my reminder, thank God. You know, that way I didn't really have to come up with anything, because everything I have comes from Him. And, you know, I'm very spiritual about that. So now it's funny, though, because I have people trained around me that when my alarm goes off and it's around 11 o'clock, like Lexi will say, oh, thank God. Is it time to thank God? Because people have been around me and seen my phone, but just be grateful, whatever it is, you know, hug your kids, whatever will put you in that mindset. And I just think this has been an amazing and fun talk. I'm so glad that you're available to do this today.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. So.
And Lisa, if someone wants to reach out to you, do you want to give them your website or the easiest way to contact you?
Sure. Yeah. My website, it's real easy. It's lisahammett.com.
You can't beat that.
I can't, no. And it's Hammett. So 2 M's and 2 T's. Yeah, lisahammett.com. You can email me at info@lisahammett.com. Or you can text me or call me at 214-725-7650.
And I will link all that in the notes on this video so they can easily click on that and find you. And, you know, thank you so much for being here today. And I hope that maybe next month we can do another something and talk about another topic.
Yeah, I would love to. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Awesome. See you
All right.
guys. Hope to
Okay.
see you soon.